Okay, we're in Access Skill 2.10, setting the primary key. I talked a bit about primary keys in the last lesson. The primary key is the way to uniquely identify every record in your table. When you set a primary key, that field must be unique on all of the records. So if I have a primary key here of 4 as the ID for this teacher, I can't create a new record and give it an ID of 4. Think of your student IDs as your primary keys. In fact, your student IDs are your primary keys in the NCU database, keeping track of all your records. To create a primary key or to set a primary key, you need to go to the design view. I'm going to switch over to design view right here. And what I do is select the record, or select the field that I want to have be the primary key. Then here on the design tab in the table tools, there's a primary key button. Click on that and you can see it adds a little key next to that field, and that says this is my primary key. One thing with primary keys is you can have the primary key be spread across more than one field. I'm going to turn it off here. If you select a field, let's say for me the name and the zip code is enough to be primary. It's not a good practice, but I'm going to, for this example, going to assume that nobody with the same name is living in the same zip code as far as my teachers go. Probably pretty safe at a small school. You might run into some problems at a bigger school. But now that I have them both selected, I just selected zip code, I held control, and I hit selected name. If I hit primary key, it adds that to both of them. Now, the combination of the zip code and the name must be unique. I can have the same name in two different records as long as the zip code is different for those. So that's setting your primary key. Your primary keys are crucial, like I said, for keeping your database organized and keeping the relationship between your tables working. Access does something for you that I really do like, is every time you create a table, by default, it adds an ID field and it gives it an auto number. The way auto number works is it gives, when you create a new record, auto number you can't edit it yourself. Auto number will give that record in your table the next available number from the numbers that the IDs you already have. So if the last record I created had an ID of 5, the next time I create a record, it'll give it 6 automatically, and that's a good way to just have your primary keys kept for you by Access. If you do want to manage them yourselves, then you need to make sure that you manage them well and you use the primary key feature there. What will happen with primary key is it'll prevent you from creating duplicate records with the same ID, because when the IDs are the same, you can imagine the problems you would have. If one of your other students had the same ID as you, your grades would be mixed up. Your schedule, your course offerings, your schedule of courses you're taking for the term would get mixed up. You would see all their classes, all their grades, they'd see all yours. So that's why it's very important to keep your IDs separate, and that's where the primary key comes into play. So that's primary keys. Your code word for this lesson is LIVE, L-I-V-E.